Hey everyone, now that it is fall and will soon be winter, despite it looking so beautiful and sunny outside, it is time for me to start getting into my comfy PJs and reading. So some books that I will be reading this fall, winter. This first one is A Month by Month Gardening in Pennsylvania. It goes through different sections, so perennials, it has herbs and veggies. I believe there's a section for roses and shrubs, and it goes through each month what this book recommends you do as far as planting, watering, pruning, and planning. So like for example, in February there's not a whole lot of like planting you can do, but maybe you can do indoor pruning, you can do fertilizing, things like that. I find this super helpful when I'm getting antsy in the garden and I want to do something in these later months. It gives me a way to help research, so I'm going to be going through this one. Another one that I picked up maybe a year ago, but I come back to, is this Complete Guide to Flower Gardening. And I had mentioned previously how I want to add more flowers to my garden. And I really like that this includes flowers in the way of like ferns as well, not just things that traditionally flower, and it gives like layouts. So this is kind of cool. I'll be looking through. The next two I picked up are more herb focused. So this first one is Medicinal Plants, and this is kind of like an A to Z home remedy. This allows me to take some of those herbs that I've grown in the garden and apply them in a different manner. Or like star anise or star anise, depending on how you pronounce it. It's not something I can grow, but it's something that's widely available in grocery stores. So it's just a way to continue to research and make sure that I'm doing what's best for my family. You know, for example, like there's wild strawberry in here. That's pretty common in most people's yards or easily able to find outside. So I'm going to be deep diving into this again. I always learn something new every time I read this. And the final one I'm going to be doing is one that might be a little bit surprising, and this is Making and Selling Herbal Crafts. What I liked about this when I like briefly looked through it before I grabbed it is that it doesn't focus on the medicinal piece, but rather how can you incorporate what you've grown into a way that's just kind of like cool. It does have building displays if you want to sell. I'm not going to sell anything right now. I don't have the inventory for it, but it does have cool ideas like some potpourri, different herbs that you can add into that, little satchel bags. I think these are great for gift giving, dried flowers to make baskets, has little sewing projects as well. It is a little dated, admittedly. This book is definitely not, something that came out in 2025, but it has lots of resources, and like, look how pretty this is. That's really cool, and definitely gives me ideas on what I can plant next. So that's what I'll be reading over the next couple months. If you guys have any book recommendations, please drop them below, or if you want any more, let me know. This is what I do. I read in the winter. I read and plan. So thanks everyone for following along. I'll keep you updated. Talk to you later. Bye everyone.